Okay, bear with me. Il potere fare questa presentazione in italiano, ma staremo qui fino a mezzanotte. So I'm going to do it in English. All right. Morning. I made a game about probation, which in Italian is libertà vigilante. All right. So that's the period after prison. So I'm not really a game designer. I'm an artist, but I use games as an art form, as my medium, because I think it's. Oh, thank you. I think it's a really great way to share art beyond privileged spaces like museums and galleries. And also they're really fun. The games can be fun. So this project that I worked with to create the lived experience. So I was commissioned to create the lived experience of probation. And when I was commissioned to do it, they didn't say, can you make a board game about probation? They said, can you make an art piece about probation? And I said, yes, and I'm going to make it into a board game. And they said, okay. So the interesting thing about this method of working for this particular project was that I wasn't working with just the men on probation, but also their probation officers and criminologists. And it was sort of an experiment to explore creative methodologies for capturing lived experience other than the usual academic way of going in and interviewing people. Because one of the things that can happen in academic settings or in rigid methodologies is that you get scripted answers, and it will be the case when you have a power imbalance, when you're interviewing people, especially if the answers that they give you, they think will determine whether they get early release or like their conditions, then you'll tend to get what they think you want to hear rather than what they really feel. So I went in, we went together, so it was co-created. So each person wasn't making a board game about probation. We had to go through a process of negotiations about what life is like on probation. And we started off with really, really big things, and maybe this is, you'll be familiar with this if you do game development or any sort of planning, is why are you doing this? So this was like a really big thing in terms of me trying to understand the criminal justice system, but also for everyone to get a shared understanding. And it was never the complete answer. And games are a really great way to do this because you're always thinking about what's the purpose of, what's the quest? Like, why am I going on this journey? So these are just some of the things, like the big questions that we could have conversations around under the guise of making a game. So like we discussed like, why are you here? What's the purpose of prison? Is it working? Who do you want this game to be played by? You know, like all these kind of big questions. So in the end, it looks like this. It's called Probationary. And it's upstairs if you want to play. I have to warn you, content warning, it's a bit depressing. But I don't know if you, but as we've seen in some games yesterday, you know, you can have games around serious topics. And I think this sort of confusion that you might have between having like playing and like thinking about an uncomfortable subject matter is also something that art and games are really good at doing. So sort of like that from the talk, like if a white man doesn't name it, does it exist sort of thing. like if a game is made and not played, does it exist? So I see the second part of my artwork as playing the game with as many people as possible, but I'm not really concerned about the quantity of gameplays, more about the quality. So I've been trying to concentrate on getting this game played to people outside of the game field. I mean, I like the game field as well, but diverse audiences. So I suppose my real interest is if games or playing the game can influence the thing that you're trying to talk about. So in this case, it's criminal justice. So I've put a lot of effort into playing this with the Ministry of Justice, with the Young Offenders Institute and the Prison and Probation Ombudsman, and we had a roundtable discussion with practitioners, like the Prison Inspectorate. And this is sort of what I've been doing for the past 2 years. And it's really strange, the way people from certain fields see this. And also, this is, I think, the beauty of art, is you come at it from your lens. So the most interesting ones have been with like probation policy members at the Ministry of Justice who play this and then sort of remember that there's people at the end of the policy. So that's where I think this can go, and I'd like to continue that. And if you'd like, please come up and play it. Thank you.